There we go. That was really interesting, Instagram. Very interesting. Okay. There we go. It's not hard. Next Carrington event is the topic of discussion. What's going on, beautiful people, conscious breathers, and infinite beings alike? The next Carrington event. So, if many of you are familiar with the first Carrington event of how hello, beyond confidence. I will. Thank you. If many people are familiar with the previous Carrington event, where electronics, you name it, everything energy-wise, even phone lines were dead. Phone lines were dead. Really fathom that. If phone lines are going to be dead, and Wi-Fi is going to be dead, and who knows what will happen to the electrical impulse when it hits a ship too, man. I think that would be a nice, huge awakening for the mass consciousness, because then people are going to start to think maybe we should up the ante with solar energy. I think people who are going to be on solar energy are going to be fine. I really think that. But maybe, the energy impulse, the EMP, might be so big. I say EMP because that's one cognitive way of thinking when it comes to energy just turning off in terms of electronics. Love all the knowledge you drop. Appreciate that. So, a great thing, if it does happen, let's say it's happening at that moment, one of the best places to go is the park. People, that's the last place people are going to go, the park. And if you're somebody who's into healing, into meditation, and love grounding themselves, go immediately to the park. Immediately. If it does happen. Because you're going to be away from the city as much as possible if you can. The park is your go-to, because the park is going to be one of the first places, because there's so much energy just emanating from the greenery around in terms of the earth, and it hasn't been touched as much in that aspect. The next thing you really want to do as well is be in the park as much as possible during these times. You want to be in the park as much as possible. Shoot, get your tent, get everything that you can bring with you. Get a bottle if you're on Shivambu. And chill out. All about raising vibrations, yes. In that Pacific time, leave your phone behind, leave everything behind, and bring a tent. Don't even read a book. Forget the book. Be with yourself. And away from other people's thoughts as much as possible. You want to be in the thought of vibration and frequency in itself. So definitely do as much breath work as you can throughout this whole Pacific time. If you want to bring a notebook, then bring a notebook, but do not bring a book where you're like reading. Journal to yourself, be with yourself, and be with your own thoughts, be with your own harmonistic internal resonance, because if it does happen, your internal spirit will definitely know what to do and what it wants to feel. And it doesn't really want anything, but in terms of an harmonistic presence, it wants to connect with another energy source, which is the planet. Because the skin, we can look at the skin as earth. We can look at our internal waters as the sea, the ocean. Any questions? Any more questions pertaining to the Carrington event? So I get asked a lot. And in terms of the Carrington event, it may not even happen during December. It may happen in January. Who knows? Who knows? But the point of the matter is, if it does happen and you realize it's happening, go to the park. Don't get lost in traffic at all. Stray away from the traffic as much as possible. Stray away from city areas as much as possible, and go to the nearest park, the nearest beach, the nearest forest, if you will, and be. Just be. And at most, do not bring a book to read. Stray away from thoughts in that specific moment in time. You want to be alone with your own thoughts, your own internal dialogue, if you will. Bring a notebook, journal if you want to in that aspect, but do not bring a book to read. Forget about that. Read the vibratory frequency that is happening, that many would wish in their lifetime to witness and feel. How do we prepare for it? There is really no preparing for it, but preparing for it, you want to up the dosage on breathwork, of course. Cleanse your mind state, because if you have a clear mind, when it starts to happen, you'll know what to do. You're not in that fight or flight. You're in a calm mood, and you act accordingly. I know I meant to see this because your live just came on. I didn't press anything. Appreciate that. So even if you have a family, tell them, hey, let's go camping around this time. Bring candles. I think at candles, if you really want to quote unquote prepare, candles may be okay to bring around with you for sure, definitely. Candles, or some type of lighting device where you use fire in that aspect. But to be honest, I really don't care. If I have to go in the dark, because I've done that for 2 years already in the forest, then I don't mind doing that already. It's literally, it's like you're gonna be in the womb all over again. And breathwork in the womb is an internal dialogue that we all are going to face one way or the other. Why not stay in your home? Yeah, you could stay in your home, but I'm saying if you notice panic around you, I would go to the park. Nothing wrong with staying in your home, staying in the basement, if you will, too. Basement is fine. If you have a basement, it's very grounding. People don't realize basements is concrete. Many basements out there are concrete. And take off your shoes, relax, be in the basement. And that's close to Earth itself. Hopefully, if you have a backyard too, go tent in the backyard if you can, if you have that luxury, or if you have friends or family that has a backyard. Say, hey, can I come over? Can I just tent and camp out in your backyard? Go for it. Candles or incense or sage, yeah, for sure. Home is prison. Depends on how you define home, because this whole body is home. You travel home wherever you go. Tent in the backyard. I got it. Backyard it is. No basements in California. Ooh, okay. Yeah, so if the next Carrington event happens, I would stray away from cities. and go straight into the backyard. Oh, I totally forgot about that. No basements in California. Because I used to live in Lake Tahoe. Oh, you know what? Lake Tahoe, no. Lake Tahoe didn't even have a basement, too. Okay. Lake Tahoe did not have a basement. Interesting. I did not know that. I just realized that. And I used to live in Cali, so... Interesting. I'm going right into the woods in PA. Ooh, PA is a beautiful spot because people don't realize how wide PA really is. You know, the West Coast like to look at the East as dense energy and all that's crap. But in actuality, you know, there's a reason why Jersey's called the Garden State. You know how many mountains there are in Jersey to hike around? And you want to call that dense? It all depends on your mindset. Sorry, perception. Forget mindset. Home is where the heart is, for sure. More mud rooms and such. Oh, okay. Yeah, nice. A nice meditation you guys can do during this time, if it does happen, is wherever you are, get familiar with a specific tree. So I live 15 minutes away from here. This is like the spot. This is like the specific spot that I always love to come and do breathwork under or do videos under, because I'm cultivating the energy. I'm harmonizing my energetic imprint into that spot. So by time if a Carrington event does happen, for instance, if it actually does, I'm going to go to that same spot that has my energetic signature and harmonize it with even bit more. It's going to just come naturally to you even more. And same thing if you look at the story of Buddha Boy and how he survived with no food, no water for over 3 months and created fires next to him and such, because the energy that he was emanating, it's because he's harmonizing with that tree. And scientists have been researching him ever since. And when they placed the monk there to see what kind of energy practice he was doing, you could see the monk was just eye gazing into him, and you can start seeing Buddha Boy starting to sweat. And I already knew what kind of technique he was already doing. He was just literally cultivating energy. I bet you even before he started even doing that, that would be the tree he would go to and just meditate under. And you can build a nice, beautiful connection with that tree, whatever it is, that tree or specific spot. So wherever you go in the world, that energy will follow you. NYC is dense. PA is beautiful. Upstate New York is pretty nice too. I think it's hey Jen, what's that mountain upstate New York? Is it Peters Mountain? Yeah, that we went to, Peters Mountain? I don't know. Well, upstate New York is pretty nice in terms of mountains. I forgot, I think it was Peters Mountain or something like that. I would run over there too. PA is beautiful. Live in the UK, but might be in Thailand for... Oh, what? Sam's Point. Check that out. If you live in New York, definitely check out Sam's Point. But as soon as immediately, if it's close to winter and electricity goes off and you look around and electricity is gone, or whenever this happens, and you see the whole block and you go out, you take your car, you drive or walk around, you see all the lights are out, that is when it is starting. It might even last a couple of days. It's not just a specific day. The Carrington event lasted a couple of days. I'm in the UK, River Thames. I'm not familiar with the UK at all. Live in the UK, but might be in Thailand for then. What parts of the world do you think will be most powerful? Everywhere is going to be powerful. But I'm saying you don't want to be around dense people, dense energy when this is happening. Because I feel like even then it's just going to intensify. You definitely wouldn't want to be around that. I got out back behind my patio. We have somewhat a large area of land right next to the woods. Oh, love it. Okay, beautiful. I do breath work daily and I quit smoking. That's fire. That's beautiful. I'm in the Appalachian Mountains, and ooh. Oh, you can go near the river. That's going to be... I'm telling you, when this all happens and people are freaking out, nature is going to be the last place they have on mind because they're just not in that frequency. So go to the nearest park, go to the nearest mountain, and be barefoot as much as you can. Be barefoot as much as possible. I host meal. That's funny. Do more break. How about the beach? Yeah, like I said, the beach. Definitely the beach. The beach, because I live close to the beach. I might even go to the beach when this is all happening too. Depends. Realistically, I really might just be here because this is one of the most silent spots ever as well. Very Mexican in that way. I wear my sandals, but I prefer to be barefoot all the time. United Kingdom will be freezing. Oh, UK? Yeah, it might be freezing. Oh, what's your favorite place in Los Angeles to do breath work? If I was still living in California and living in LA, I would literally drive all the way down to Inspiration Point in Cali. That's around in Huntington Beach. That spot has a beautiful energy for sure. Inspiration Point, definitely check that out if you haven't. Mount Shasta is one as well too. What are some foods, some good sources? What are some good sources for Carrington event, ebook or podcast? I did a video December 21st. I put a segment of some scientific research into the Carrington event itself. So definitely check out my YouTube in that regards. I'm excited for the upgrades. Every day is upgrading for sure. I have a nice area to do so, but I know my own parent and neighbors would look at my crazy during all of that. Hugging a tree, but it's okay. Oh, okay. Okay, sweet, thanks. Appreciate that. Any more questions about the Carrington event? You know, it's interesting. Nikola Tesla was born around that time. Tropical environment, sunshine, fruits, fasting, and breath work. Hope the borders don't close. Ooh, man, if you live really close to the Mexican borders, like close to Tulum, you live in Texas, I would just drive over there. Just haul ass and just drive straight to Tulum. That's a really good spot. Thank you. I know something sent you to me. Appreciate it. Nothing is coincidences. People really take life for granted in that aspect. You know, they always see things one-dimensional. What is the Carrington event? So the Carrington event was a solar flare that turned off all technology. Even the phone lines were dead. And you would think, when you have that envisioning in terms of a nice EMP wave, you would think Wi-Fi, it's more targeted towards Wi-Fi and electrical, the whole building as such. But in reality, anything technological, And even Nikola Tesla himself, when he was in Colorado for the first time, and this kid who's helping him around has no idea what electricity really is, or a light bulb, and he goes to the kid humbly, and he sat the kid down. He was like, nobody knows specifically what electricity really is. That's what I thought that was, yes. EMP would knock out the cars too, since... Ooh, yeah, you're right. Because most run with ECU. Ooh, you hit it right on the nail. I totally forgot about that. I was even thinking, some of the ships might be out of power as well. So people who are on cruises, that's going to be interesting to watch. But yeah, people are even on cruises. And I would not want to be flying a plane, be in a plane when that happens as well. So knock on earth. I really just thought about that. Even a plane, man, what would happen to a plane? I'm about to sell my car and buy an old one from the 50s. I wouldn't sell your car though. Well, if you have to sell your car to do that, then nothing hurt. That wouldn't hurt, but that would still be nice. It's if you have that luxury of doing that. We still don't know how electricity works exactly. Might be riding a bike after that. I felt to buy a bike like a month ago. Okay, I did too. 9/11 again, some shit like that. So if it does happen, and some people think maybe that's what they're gonna blame it on. Oh, maybe this is all Corona or something like that. That's gonna be their scapegoat. Because people might be purging when that happens. Even beyond the physical purging, really think about this. And I was in Jersey when this winter storm happened. I forgot which storm it was, but it was a really big storm where you could see like inches and inches and inches of snow, and people literally lost power. And I was speaking to a store owner when all this took place. And next thing you know, some places in terms of gas stations will run out of gas, and you see lines and lines and lines just to get gas. But I was talking to a store owner, and he said this mother and her kid comes in, and they say to the store owner, "Oh, can we charge our phones because she wants to go on Facebook and Instagram and I don't know, whatever, blah blah blah, to watch Netflix." And he was like, "Man, that goes to show you, that's before asking for food, that was their mindset." So purging in that manner as well. So, just like we did the Zoom call in the members group, it's very important that you follow accounts that stimulate your mind and not saturate it, that stimulate your mind in terms of knowledge, healthy knowledge, and not things that lowers your perception of reality. The antiques drive better anyway. Yes, I've had the privilege of driving some antiques, if I know what you mean. Great content. Any thoughts on linking to the alleged fake alien invasion Project Bluebeam? Here's the thing. Even Tesla himself alluded to this. I'm not afraid to even talk about this theory, but all these quote unquote, and I really hate diving into conspiracy theories, but I'm just putting a thought out there because I'm trying to answer your question as well. So just like in Jersey, you saw this huge quote unquote UFO or whatever. It was actually a blimp. It was actually a blimp. So when you start seeing quote unquote UFOs or whatever, in that aspect. Maybe you are seeing military ships, and maybe those military ships are going to beam you up and bring you to a concentration camp. Who knows? But if it was a benevolent being, I believe, and with my awakening, which was a quote-unquote alien, if you want to call it that. I really don't like calling the word alien, just extraterrestrial or just another being communicating. That being said, in terms of communication, it would be more towards signal in telepathically, if anything, first, and then a couple years down the line, then you might start seeing physical contact, maybe. And we already know they already had physical contact when you look at ancient Egypt with runways. They had certain runways, and what do you think landed on those runways? Hey, buddy. This dog's over here. There's a power in 369. Yes, when you start breathing that way and doing different techniques in that manner, you feel it. And other things we do in alchemy utilizing 3, 6, and 9. And there's a couple that I'm working with right now, and they've been on fruits, and they look pretty fit for on fruits. They're still, even the husband is still growing in mass. So that shows you the power of semen retention as well too. But yes, there is a power in 369, and they're Croatian, because a lot of people don't know Nikola Tesla was born in Croatia. His father was Serbian. Yeah, definitely check out alchemy breathwork content on YouTube to get a feel of that. Did a few rounds this morning with 3s and 6 and back to 3s. Fire. That was a great way to start the day. Elevated. Great way to start the day with our little quick session. If it's going to be more mini sessions that we do like that, then I don't mind. If you don't mind either, we could just do FaceTime literally every day of those 15 minutes. Maybe, since you're doing a whole year with me, maybe we can up it a notch to like maybe 3 days a week or 4 days a week, one or the other. I don't mind, because I already wake up early anyway. I don't mind doing that for you. I know it's tough with the new work schedule, but I do not mind doing that. And that way it just builds up to the 1 hour. Because in alchemy, I love getting people to the ideology that compound breaths really does take effect into their everyday life. No matter how small it is, it will take effect. And that is the power of compounding energy itself. And that's a great way to restructure your mind and restructure neuroplasticity in the brain. Sounds great to me. We can do that until my schedule goes back to normal. Alright, sounds good. Alright guys, I want to save battery on my partner's phone because she wants to use it later. Alright guys, thank you all for sharing the breath. Until next time, if you guys really want me to talk about more of the Carrington event, I feel like I've hit all the spots. If you guys want me to talk about more of it, definitely comment on the IGTV page. What exactly is breathwork? It is breathing exercises. It's breathing exercises that cleanses the body, cleanses the mind, cleanses the soul, if you will. Because breathwork is literally spirit work in that aspect is too, because breath equals spirit. So it's also spirit work. It's also light work, because you're working on your light body in that aspect. Especially when I work with athletes and trainers. Breath is life. Breath is life. And now you see people wearing more masks. They're trying to hinder that. And that's another thing with the whole Carrington event. If it does happen, there's going to be way more prana in the air, way more energy to absorb in the air. So that is, if it does happen like that, I think you might see a boom of quote-unquote breatharian babies, or just breatharianism overall, for sure. Holy Spirit equals breath of life. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So beyond the spread of information, which is really light energy in itself as well, but the Carrington event is an information wave, if you will, as well too. And the best way to absorb information is utilizing the breath. There's many different, even when I work with students who are in university, there's different breathwork exercises to simulate, not even beyond simulation, but really tap into the brain and its healing mechanisms, specifically for the brain though, to absorb more knowledge and utilize knowledge that they're using more efficiently when it comes to whenever they're in class or whenever they're going over reading material back and forth. Breath is key. Let's see. Yeah, I want to keep this short. I want to. Some of these videos go over 1 hour, and I really wanted to save that more for Facebook because I don't mind going on Facebook for 3+ hours sometimes. You are the only life ever watch ever, and I'm on deck on this point. Appreciate that. Appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate everyone for sharing the breath. Any more questions before I leave? I got 9 minutes. 9 more minutes, guys. I can't go live with anybody because the battery is about to die, and I feel like if I go live, it's just gonna drain most of the battery. This live being saved? Yes, all my lives are gonna be saved. Don't worry. What is the best course you offer to a beginner? It doesn't matter if you're a beginner. You know, there's some people who start off and go a whole year with me because they really want to feel a nice transformation in that aspect. And even if you go in the members course, you just scroll down and take that journey for yourself. And it's a beautiful journey. It's a beautiful journey in that aspect, especially with the breath, utilizing it in everyday life and really getting out the stigma and the dogma of spiritual growth, because everything we do is spiritual. So how are we utilizing the breath in every aspect of our life? You know, I'm very humbled to, especially when you work with celebrities, for instance, in terms of singers, actors, instead of them, you know, that's how I noticed there is a changing tide in the whole spectrum, because instead of going for weed or liquor, which they easily have more available to them than most people out in the world, because of Hollywood, if you really want to talk about it, they're going towards breathing exercise, meditation. It's more prevalent, and that in itself sends a nice ripple effect into reality as a whole. Even though I'm not the one doing the singing, I'm having an energetic impact on the person who is, and that energy is going to be beamed out to millions or more. And again, going back to the Carrington event, if it does happen, go in your backyard, go into nature, stray away from cities if you can. Just really stray away from cities. You do not want to be in crowds at all, unless it's a conscious crowd, and that's a different story. So this is a great time to get in tune with a quote-unquote conscious community. And it's crazy because I gotta stop saying crazy too. That's my next thing. But it's beautiful how I just came here in a couple months in Miami, and I just attracted a powerful community that I would have I wouldn't have never imagined to be part of. And your vibe attracts your tribe. Erica just joined us. She said, "What's a Carrington event?" Best life quote. Thank you for sharing the breath. That's my best life quote right there. For now. I got a little bit of time. All right. What's a Carrington event? To answer this question again, so Carrington event is an event that happened in the 1850s, where the solar flare happened, and all technology, even the phone lines went dead. And the Earth's vibratory frequency goes up to an all-time high. And if you look at the Schumann resonance, you think it's a coincidence. It's been flatline. And it's not really flatline if you really think about it. Even though the Schumann resonance, you see it goes flatline. What's actually happening, you can just look at it as a resting pulse, cultivating itself for a bigger event, maybe. Who knows? And even this whole specific year is when the sun is literally dead in terms of having dead spots. You think that's a coincidence happening this year? No such thing as coincidences again. And if you're someone that keeps on believing in coincidences and life and synchronicity always smacks you in the face and you're not acknowledging it, it's only a matter of time. It's gonna you're gonna say to yourself, man, I should have taken this more seriously. I agree, your tribe comes to you and you to them, for real. The next pulse will be bigger than the Carrington. I agree with that. I definitely agree, because we live in the information age where you see more people acknowledging the unseen energy of life in that aspect. So when you see more people raising their vibratory frequency, when the Carrington event happens, it's going to pulsate. You got to look at the whole world as a big machine, as Tesla himself would call it, and ourselves are pulsations of the machine as well. So if we're pulsating positive energy, and just beyond the word positive, forget positive, but the energy that encompasses growth, because that's what's going to be happening. There's going to be a growing frequency, and if you're aligning with that growing frequency, it is going to be at an all-time high when it comes to the Carrington event. Another Carrington event, if it does happen. For sure. I got 3 more minutes. Anything else you guys want to tap into? Because I literally want to leave it for 40, and that's it. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it off here, and if I feel like I could touch on more things, then maybe I might go live later today. Maybe, or not. So I thank you all for sharing the breath, and definitely, if you're just joining, rewatch this live, because we definitely tapped in deep. Know about the harvest. Not sure what specific harvest you're talking about, but thank you all for sharing the breath. Peace.
What's up, everybody? I wanted to give a quick shout out to Devon, also known as the Black Airbender on Instagram. Yes, the Black Airbender on Instagram, and Devon the Airbender on YouTube, I think it is. Now, I want to give a quick shout out to Devon because I've been now part of his members group for 2 months, and I've been practicing this breath work that he teaches, the alchemy breath work, for 2 months now. And I am just, on a daily basis, I'm just blown away at how genius these practices are, how simple these practices are, and how just so effective these practices are. And they're so, it just baffles me that this even exists, that it's so easy, and that something so easy, the breath, and using the breath in many different ways, and combining it with different things, with like daily life, that it can be so powerful and have such a tremendous effect in your life. And I also want to give a shout out to Devon himself for being such a great master, such a great teacher. Now Devon is, to me, he is a teacher or a master that is unlike any other Breatharian teacher that I've ever seen online or met in person, because Devon somehow, he remains really humble. I've seen that he meets every single person on their own level. He lowers his vibration to meet them at their level. He does a really good job at this too. And he's very kind, and he also, I think this is the most amazing part, that when you ask Devon a question, he doesn't give you a long explanation. He doesn't give you, he doesn't give you some type of formulas that, you need to solve and some type of mysteries, and he doesn't raise questions in your head at all. He also doesn't force anything upon you, which I think that's very, very awesome too. He just puts information out there, but this information he puts out there is so simple, and it is always, when somebody asks him a question and he answers the question, most of the 9 out of 10 times, or probably 10 out of 10 times, he answers the question with the breath, and it always leads back to the breath. And he makes it so simple that it's so understandable, it's so easy to put into practice. I've never come across such a person like Devon, or such a technique that Devon teaches. And basically it's just, it's nothing groundbreaking, it's nothing special that he teaches, but it's so simple and effective, and it's so powerful that it actually is really special. But on the surface, it doesn't seem special at all. And I just love the way he teaches things, because he keeps it very down to earth, he keeps it very grounded, but he also keeps it very practical, but also very so that you can elevate yourself, and it works, and it's so effective. And I'm just totally amazed by what he teaches and the person that Devon is. So I just want to give a quick shout out. And he also has a members group where he has a bunch of techniques and a bunch of information on Instagram. So if you're interested, I suggest that you DM him on the Black Airbender on Instagram, and he'll give you the information. So until next time.